Imagine waking up one day and discovering that there is no water coming out of the tap. The supermarket shelves are empty, and your credit card is just a useless piece of plastic. It may sound exaggerated, but recent history shows us otherwise. Crises like those in Venezuela, Argentina, or even the blackouts in Texas left millions of people without the most basic necessities overnight. And experts are already warning that 2025 could bring a global financial collapse, even worse than the one in 2008. But the difference between those who suffer and those who resist lies in preparedness. Today, I'm going to show you the 13 key resources you should secure right now, because in a crisis, they can mark the line between despair and survival. 1. Cash in small bills. Technology has made us almost entirely dependent on digital payments, but a massive blackout is enough to reveal how fragile the system is. In Texas, during the winter of 2021, millions of people discovered that neither cards nor apps worked when the electricity was cut off. Only those who had cash in hand could buy water, gasoline, or some food. The problem is that most people barely keep a few loose bills at home, and official recommendations suggest having 3 to 6 months' worth of basic expenses in cash. It's not about keeping it in your bank account, but about real money in small denominations, because in a scenario with no cashiers or change available, trying to pay with a 100 note can make you lose a large part of your money. What seems obsolete today may be the only way to obtain medicine, fuel, or food tomorrow. And while everyone is desperately searching for a working ATM, you'll have the peace of mind of knowing you can cover your immediate needs. Think of cash as the oxygen of the invisible economy until it runs out, and when it disappears, the world comes to a standstill. 2. Tools and repairs. When the economy collapses, university degrees lose value, and practical skills become the most sought-after currency. In Venezuela, during hyperinflation, a simple plumber earned more than doctors or lawyers because he could solve real problems that affected daily life. The reason is simple. When everything is scarce, repairing becomes more important than buying. That's why a good toolkit isn't a luxury, it's an investment in autonomy. Screwdrivers, pliers, hammers, wrenches, nails, screws, and adhesive tape may seem like trivial things, but in a crisis, they are pure gold. With them, you can fix an appliance, improvise a repair in your house, or help a neighbor fix a water leak. Even the famous duct tape, cheap and readily available today, can become a valuable commodity because its manufacturing process is complex and it disappears quickly in emergencies. Imagine that a window breaks in winter, or that you need to seal a gap to prevent rain from entering. Without these materials, you would be exposed. Furthermore, having the tools is only half the equation. Learning the basics of carpentry, plumbing, or electricity multiplies your value. A toolbox is like a treasure chest in difficult times. And if you are the person who knows how to use them, you will not only solve your problems, but you will become an indispensable resource for your community. 3. Water and filtration systems. They say water is life, and there is no truer statement. Without drinking water, a human being can barely survive 3 days. The worrying thing is that by 2025, 2/3 of the world's population will already be facing some kind of water scarcity. And we're not talking about isolated areas. Modern cities like Cape Town in South Africa literally ran out of water in 2018. The same thing happened in Flint, Michigan, where the water was contaminated with lead and people relied on donations. The problem is that when a crisis hits, bottled water disappears from stores in a matter of hours, and storing hundreds of liters is not feasible for most people. The real solution lies in filtration systems, from portable personal filters to gravity-fed systems capable of producing 20 L per day without electricity. The difference between getting sick and staying healthy depends on what you have stored in your home. Imagine the peace of mind of being able to purify water from a river, a pond, or even a puddle if necessary. Ideally, you should have several layers, an individual filter for each family member, a tabletop system for the home, and a backup plan such as purification tablets. It's not paranoia, it's simple math. When water is scarce, there is no possible substitute. And if the pandemic taught us anything, it's that waiting until the last minute is the fastest path to panic. 4. Long-lasting foods. If water comes first, food is what sustains strength and morale. Just remember March 2020, when the rice and pasta aisles disappeared overnight, and that was just a temporary disruption in the supply chain, not a prolonged economic collapse. Now imagine a scenario where inflation drives prices up to the point where a loaf of bread can cost $50 or even $100, as happened in Zimbabwe or Venezuela. The key is to have reserves of basic foodstuffs that last for years and do not depend on electricity for preservation. Rice, beans, lentils, flour, pasta, canned vegetables, and canned meat form the basis of any solid pantry. These foods not only provide energy and protein, they are also cheap and easy to rotate so they never spoil. But there's one more step. Freeze-dried or dehydrated foods, which can last between 20 and 30 years if stored properly. They are more expensive, yes, but they ensure a strategic reserve for long emergencies. Storing food is not a luxury, it's life insurance. Every extra bag you put in your pantry today is one less day of worry tomorrow. And when the stores are empty, your pantry can become the best investment you've ever made. 5. Medicines and first aid kit. Health doesn't wait, especially not in the midst of a crisis. Today, there are already more than 250 medicines in short supply in several countries, even without a declared collapse. Imagine what will happen when supply chains truly break down. A simple antibiotic, a bottle of ibuprofen, or allergy pills can become luxury items. History is full of examples. During the Bosnian War, people traded food for painkillers, and even a box of aspirin was considered a treasure. Therefore, one of the pillars of your preparation should be putting together a complete first aid kit. Start with the basics. Pain relievers, anti-inflammatories, fever reducers, cough syrups, antidiarrheals, bandages, gauze, alcohol, and disinfectants. Add to that vitamins and supplements that strengthen the immune system, because a good defense is the best medicine. If you take chronic medication, ask your doctor for 90-day prescriptions and gradually build up a supply. Don't forget that, in addition to medication, knowledge is just as important. Learning first aid can make the difference between a scare and a tragedy. Knowing how to stop bleeding, treat a wound, or perform CPR is more valuable than any pill. When pharmacies are empty and hospitals are overflowing, all you'll have left is what you've stored at home and what you know how to do with your hands. Being prepared is not an exaggeration, it is a responsibility to your life and the lives of your family. 6. Hygiene and sanitation. Nobody wants to admit it, but filth kills more than hunger. During the 1918 flu pandemic, many deaths were not caused by the virus itself, but by infections resulting from poor hygiene. And the same thing happens in modern crises. When garbage collection stops or drinking water becomes scarce, germs multiply. Imagine garbage bags piling up in the streets, collapsed septic systems, and toilets that stop working. The chaos in the healthcare system becomes a breeding ground for diseases we thought were forgotten. That's why cleaning supplies are as important as food. Heavy-duty garbage bags, bleach, laundry detergent, Gloves, bar soap, and feminine hygiene products are key items that sell out in hours when people panic. Think about something as simple as washing your hands. That action can be the difference between staying healthy or becoming seriously ill. Another detail that many forget is the management of human waste. Having lime, chlorine, or even dedicated buckets on hand can help you maintain hygiene if services collapse. And the best part is that these products are cheap, easy to store, and don't expire quickly. Stockpiling today is a minimal investment that could save you from serious illnesses tomorrow. Don't underestimate this point. A simple bar of soap can be worth more than gold when public health is collapsing. 7. Alternative energy and fuels. Electricity is the silent engine of our daily lives, but also one of the most fragile. The massive blackouts in Texas in 2021 left millions without power or heat for days, and hundreds died from hypothermia or poisoning while trying to improvise heat sources. Without power, there are no refrigerators, no internet, no ATMs, and no functioning gas stations. That's why ensuring alternative energy is vital. A portable generator can give you the basic autonomy to keep the refrigerator running or charge devices. But remember that fuel is also scarce in emergencies. That's where the importance of diversifying comes in. Propane tanks, Orioline drums, candles, rechargeable flashlights, solar panels, and portable batteries. Today, there are solar power stations capable of powering household appliances for hours without noise or pollution, and with the advantage that they are recharged for free with the sun. A smart scheme combines several layers: gas for cooking, batteries for the essentials, and, if possible, solar power to ensure continuity. It is not about replicating the convenience of the electrical grid, but about guaranteeing what is essential to survive with dignity. Imagine being able to boil water, heat a room, or light up your house when your entire neighborhood is plunged into darkness. That peace of mind is priceless and depends on you getting ahead of the problem before the blackout arrives. 8. Seeds and home garden. The real leap from survival to self-sufficiency lies in producing your own food. A packet of seeds can be transformed into tens of kilos of fresh vegetables, something invaluable when prices skyrocket or supermarkets are empty. It's not about dreaming of a self-sustaining farm overnight, but to start with the basics: tomatoes, lettuce, herbs, beans, or carrots. The important thing is that they are seeds of varieties called heirloom or heritage, because these generate new seeds each season, ensuring an infinite cycle of production. A small vegetable garden in the garden, in pots on the balcony, or even in vertical systems inside the house can complement your diet, improve your health, and reduce your dependence on the market. Furthermore, gardening strengthens the spirit amidst chaos. Watching your plants grow gives you hope and stability. The next step is to learn how to preserve what you produce. Methods such as canning, fermentation, or drying allow surpluses to be stored for months or even years. Thus, a good summer harvest is transformed into food available in winter. Don't underestimate this resource. He who controls his food controls his destiny. Every seed you save today can be the equivalent of banknotes tomorrow, with the difference that here inflation works in your favor, because a minimal investment multiplies into kilos of real and renewable food. 9. Bartering and exchange products. When currency loses value, society reverts to primitive forms of trade, such as bartering. In Bosnia, during the War of the 90s, a cup of coffee or a pack of cigarettes could be worth more than medicine. In Venezuela, a bottle of rum was once exchanged for bags of food. The same could happen in any country if inflation destroys confidence in money. Therefore, accumulating products that are not only useful but also desirable is a smart strategy. Alcohol, coffee, tobacco, sweets, chocolate, and small luxuries are perfect because they don't expire quickly and are in high demand. Even small bottles, like airplane liquor bottles, are ideal for exchanging in fair quantities. Imagine being able to trade a packet of instant coffee for fresh food or medicine. Other key items are lighters, batteries, and candles, small but essential objects that quickly become scarce. The secret lies in thinking about which products generate dependence or pleasure, because in times of stress, people seek emotional relief as much as basic needs. It's not about encouraging vices, but about having valuable resources that others want. Becoming someone with goods to trade not only ensures you get what you need, but also puts you at the center of a barter network. In a broken economy, being a provider of value is the best way to guarantee your survival and that of your family. 10. Precious metals. When money loses value, precious metals become a safe haven. History confirms it. In every economic crisis, those who had gold or silver retained their purchasing power, while others watched their savings evaporate. Gold is the traditional benchmark, but in practical situations, silver is often more useful. Because it is more accessible and divisible. Imagine you have a gold coin worth thousands of dollars, but you only need to buy bread and milk. Without change available, you lose almost all of its value in the transaction. With money, on the other hand, you can negotiate smaller amounts more flexibly. Furthermore, industrial demand for silver is increasing due to its use in solar panels, electric cars, and electronic devices, further limiting supply. In times of scarcity, its price tends to skyrocket, making it not only a store of value, but also a smart investment. Storing old coins, small ingots, or recognizable pieces ensures that you always have a tangible backup that doesn't depend on banks or electronic systems. Think about it. Safe and quiet. You may never have to use it, but if the time comes, it will be your passport to access resources when paper money is worthless. At its core, precious metals have represented the same thing for thousands of years: trust, stability, and a value that no crisis can erase. 11. Knowledge and skills. There is no point in accumulating possessions if you don't know how to use them. The most powerful resource in a crisis is knowledge, because it takes up no space, it does not expire, and its value increases the more you share it. During Argentina's collapse in the early 2000s, many families survived thanks to neighbors who knew how to repair cars, sew clothes, or grow gardens. In Bosnia, whoever was proficient in first aid always had a guaranteed meal because everyone needed their help. Learn practical skills now: first aid, survival cooking, basic carpentry, home electricity, simple mechanics, or food cultivation. Even skills like sewing, purifying water with homemade methods, or preserving food through fermentation can become currency. In the digital age, don't forget emergency technologies, shortwave radios, portable solar systems, or communication techniques without the internet. Each new skill is an invisible tool that strengthens your resilience and that of your community. Furthermore, teaching others multiplies your social value. In a broken world, it is not the one who accumulates the most who survives, but the one who adapts best. Becoming that person who always has a solution will give you security, respect, and the certainty that you can stand firm even when everything around you seems to be collapsing. 12. Personal safety and self-protection. Every crisis brings with it an increase in crime. When resources are scarce, even peaceful people can be driven to steal in order to survive. Therefore, safety is a pillar that cannot be ignored. It doesn't mean living with paranoia, but rather taking practical measures. Start with the basics: sturdy locks, reinforced doors, exterior lighting systems, and, if possible, simple alarms or cameras. Often, prevention is enough to deter attempted robberies. It also considers non-lethal means of defense such as pepper spray, retractable batons, or emergency whistles. The goal is not to turn your home into a fortress, but to gain time and security for you and your family. The key is to plan, have escape routes, meeting points, and clear protocols. In extreme situations, having trusted neighbors who keep watch together can make all the difference. And never forget that self-protection is also mental. Staying calm and making cool decisions in stressful situations is one of the best defenses you can cultivate. Preparing for the worst doesn't make you violent, it makes you responsible. Because when the law weakens and chaos increases, those who have thought about their safety will be able to sleep more soundly than the rest. 13. Community and support networks. There is a very common myth in the world of survival, the figure of the lone wolf who faces chaos alone. The reality is very different. History shows that those who best survive wars, crises, or collapses are those who rely on a community. In Argentina, after the Corralito bank freeze, it was neighborhood networks that organized bartering, collective security, and even community kitchens. In Bosnia, sharing food and caring for the weakest strengthened the resilience of entire neighborhoods. And during the Texas blackouts, it was organized neighbors who helped the most vulnerable when services collapsed. Building trust before a crisis is vital. Getting to know your neighbors, sharing skills, establishing communication channels, and collaborating on small projects strengthens everyone's resilience. Even a small group of 3 or 4 families coordinating their efforts can make a big difference. Community also provides emotional support, because facing difficulties together is more bearable than doing it alone. No one can meet all needs on their own. But together, it is possible to complement shortcomings. Remember this: total self-sufficiency is a myth. Intelligent interdependence is the real key. Preparing yourself doesn't just mean accumulating resources. It also involves building a network of trust that will sustain you when everything else collapses. The idea is not to live in fear, but with foresight. We have reviewed water, food, cash, medicine, hygiene, energy, tools, seeds, bartering, metals, skills, safety, and community. 13 pillars that will allow you not only to survive, but to remain calm while others panic. Start small with one concrete step this week: a filter, a package of rice, a first aid kit, whatever is within your reach. Every action counts and brings you closer to safety. The world can become uncertain at any moment. But your preparation will be the difference between depending on chance or being in control. Remember, crises don't give warning, but preparation always comes in time.